It is Wednesday, and it is time to grow our businesses. So as you come on, be sure you type in you type in the notes that you're here. Glad you're here. So thanks for joining me today. But uh, this week, I hope you guys were able to watch the video. I'm going to show you where to watch the videos every week in the newsletter. If you're not getting the newsletter, you got to let me know. The bottom of the newsletter, we're showing each week we've got the video at the bottom of that. But I'm going to show you on my share my screen here. Make sure that you are subscribing. So let's share the screen here. All right, I'll share this screen too. Here we go. All right, we're ready. Make sure you're coming here into the to Jeffrey Boyle, and here on Jeffrey Boyle, it's just youtube.com/Jeffrey Boyle. Every week I put out the new video, and in the new video I tell you what I'm going to be talking about this week. I give you some of the tips, the tricks, and that way when you come to the call each week, you come with your questions. So make sure that you're letting. Let me see. Tom Johnson needs the newsletter. Well, let's put that inside the AI mastermind group and tag me, and I'll make sure that I get that put in there. So I think you've asked that before, so I apologize, Thomas. We'll make sure that we get you in there. But thank you guys for each week going through this, and it's been crazy to see each week as I've been going through, and I'm always testing new things, and I've really been on a kick of frankly, I've been on a kick of LinkedIn lately. And the reason why I've been on a kick with LinkedIn is because it simply works. And right now, I was explaining to my team at our weekly or our daily calls that we have, I have less appointments than I did before. So I was spending anywhere from $8,000 to $10,000 a month on my advertising with Meta. That's Facebook and that's Instagram. And it was loading me up with appointments. One of the biggest problems with loading me up with appointments, many of the people are unqualified, even though I put the filters in there for them to come. And we did everything right. We've paid tens of thousands of dollars in coaches to be able to help us set the different things up properly, but we still were having a high no-show rate. And so, I just continue to look at it, and we also had what was a lowering return on ad spend, ROAS. And I think that the dream that all of us have as you guys come on here each week is, you continue to think, all right, how do we continue to increase our sales, but if possible, we do it by lowering the number of appointments that we have. So the best case scenario is to close better, have better prospects, and have less meetings of unqualified prospects. And I've been doing that with LinkedIn. So I've decreased my approximate $10,000 per month of advertising spend down to right around $2,000 a month. And it's focused away from Meta. Now, I know that doesn't work for everybody, but it's important that you understand that as you go through this, that it's okay if this doesn't necessarily pertain to you, but there's all kinds of different ways to be able to utilize this direct messaging process, even if you're using Facebook. Now, out of curiosity, from those of you guys who are on here, what is one of the best ways if you're going to do a DM strategy, a direct message strategy? If you've got it, be sure you put it in the notes. Be sure you unmute yourself, because any participation in this is super helpful as we're going through this together. And I'll go through what we've been doing, but understand as I explain this can be used for X, this can be used for Facebook, this can be used for Instagram. But the best part about doing this with LinkedIn is you 100% have a better idea of who it is that you are talking to, who it is that you're sending messages to. The disadvantage to using LinkedIn is there's all kinds of costs. You're limited with the number of reach outs you can do. And there's all kinds of different things that you have to learn in the process. But if you're willing to take the time, I can promise you that it is worth it to go through this process. So before I get started with this, anybody have any questions? Anybody have anything that they got from the newsletter that what I did with the video this week? And once again, what's the best way to do that? Just subscribe to my YouTube channel, Jeffrey Boyle. And when you're there, make sure on the video. So if I go make sure, well, this is my own account. So if I open up, let's open up a different account. Next to it, you can subscribe it, and then you can make sure that you click the bell to let you know whenever a new video comes in. So be sure that what's that?
No, I did all the countertops and all the cabinets and all oh, sorry.
I'm sorry. I'll just go ahead and mute yourself. Unmute yourself when you've got some different questions. But really make sure that you go to the different videos, and each week I go through and I give you a sneak preview of what I'm going to be talking about for the week. But on that video itself, make sure that you are hitting the bell so that you are notified when a new video comes out. So anyways, I want to go through just a little bit. Anybody who does not have this document, make sure that you send me a message in the WhatsApp group so that you can really take advantage of all this research that I'm doing. So right here, Thomas, you put on here, focusing on income producing activities, focus, refocus, and repeat. What are some of the income producing activities that you're working on right now, Thomas? I'd love to hear some of that, and so I can incorporate some of that into what we're doing on this call.
Well, for what I'm doing, we're very much a B2C,
right?
On a one-to-one basis, and just for me, that translates to create lead producing strategies and activities that are repeatable and then automatable, and then spend the time to follow up and just keep doing them. My boss, Dan, has a saying, it works so good we stop doing it.
Yeah. Well,
and it has to do with comfort levels, but honestly, we get distracted by things, or, there's something fun or new or flashy. Just focusing on those basic activities really is what drives business.
Well, and I think that's definitely what we are seeing as we continue to do and get better at the DM. So we do a heavy DM strategy right now on X, Twitter, and also we do a heavy strategy with LinkedIn. But this is possible to do, for example, and I know that you deal with typically senior citizens or people above 60. And so one of the things so I don't think above 60 necessarily means senior citizens, but you're typically dealing with people above 60. There's a lot of groups on Facebook that have people above the age of 60. And so this strategy that I'm going to show, please know that this is not just exclusive to LinkedIn. But what I love about LinkedIn, and even Thomas, you had talked about, for example, in the future of you doing courses to teach people all of what you've been all of what you've been learning using Bemodo and artificial intelligence. So in the future, if you ever wanted to do that, that's a B2B function, and LinkedIn is a very, very good place to be able to do this. So just send me this message, a DM, and I'll send you I'll send you the link to this document. But one of the first things I've been telling people to do is check out their LinkedIn score. And so to check out your LinkedIn score, all you've got to do is type in LinkedIn SSI right there and hit, let's see this right there. So you'll see that's the first thing that comes up. Just click on the get your score. And right now you really should be trying to get above a 65. Mine has not moved since last week, which makes me mad. I want to get above an 80, which is it's not like this is going to shut me down, but this tells you really how well you're doing by implementing some of the different things that we're talking about today. So be sure you look at that. If you're above 60 or below 60, you really you've got to implement some of these things that we're talking about. The number one thing when you're prospecting on LinkedIn or any of these others is determining your target market. On X, it's a little bit more difficult to determine than LinkedIn, but it's definitely possible, because once you've defined a very distinct part within your target market, it really shouldn't be, for example, we'll use Thomas as an example. It's not a matter of just finding people that sell insurance. It would be finding people who sell a specific kind of insurance to a specific age group, and even better, in a certain part of the country. The more specific you are, the easier it is for you to be able to determine your market if you're doing searches on LinkedIn. And on X, it's the same thing. You can look for very specific places. Facebook, you can look for very specific groups that have that. The next thing is making sure you know your offer and articulate it really clearly. And I'll show you why that's so important. And optimizing your profile. Inside your profile, I'm going to show you a couple things. This is my profile right here. Where's my profile? I thought I had it open. Let's just go to my LinkedIn here. On my profile, if I show you this, I'm going to show you a couple different things that you're going to want to look for when you're going into different profiles of people. This little badge right here shows that I'm a premium member. And here's another thing that it typically means, because I'm going to show you how to take advantage of these LinkedIn, basically credits, these InMail credits. Anybody that, if you are a premium member and is also a premium member, I'm going to click on here. You can see that mine right here says open profile. I hope this doesn't open me up for 1 million people that, well, I guess I need to have 1 million people watch this video, which would be great. But right here, this open profile right here means that if another premium member sends me an InMail, and what's an InMail? That is just somebody reaching out, if they were to look Jeffrey Boyle up inside of here and to send me a message, it would not count against their credits. So see right here, you get 50 credits per month as a premium member, but you can send hundreds of InMail messages to people that are open, and it does not count against your credits. So the question you ask yourself is, how do you do that? I'm not going to click on these different links of different people, but with mine, if you were to visit my profile, you would see that I have this badge right here. It's probably why I get so many people reaching out to me, but it enables them to send me an InMail with this gold badge. And it likely means that I have, and I do have, an open profile. So the open profile means it's not going to count against the messages that you send to me. All right. So that's one of the first things that, as you start to go through this. So the next one, of course, is posting consistently. We've done a lot of videos on that inside of Bemodo. These are some of the different things that I use every day to post. Engaging with your network, and that means replying to different people's posts. And when your SSI score is 65, then you really should be in a good position to subscribe to Sales Navigator. But this is what I want to talk to you about today. This is what I am doing presently. I'm sending 10 to 20 InMails per day. And you say, well, Jeff, you've only got 50 credits. And each time I send one, so let's just look inside my Sales Navigator here. If I send a message to this guy who declined my InMail, he declined it, so that counted against it. If I wanted to thank him for responding to me, you can see right here, it would use a credit. So I'm not going to do it. It would be a polite thing to say, thanks, JD, keep me in mind for the future, but it would use up one of my 17 credits that I have left. It is the 14th of the month. The last thing I want to do is use it up to thank him for it. But there's a lot of people, for example, you can see that this guy, he accepted my InMail. So because he accepted that, it doesn't count against my InMail. And you get up to 150 of those. So basically, you have to be really smart on how you're using it. Now, if you click on this guy's profile, if I were to do that, I could also look at it and see if he has the same thing that I do, which is that little gold badge right there, which means it is highly likely that it wouldn't count against my numbers. So this may be a little bit confusing. Let me know, type it in the chat, or just ask me, is this making sense so far in what I'm saying on as it relates to LinkedIn? Excellent. What you're looking for is to do 10 to 20 InMails per day. And one thing that's super important is that you customize the messages to the recipient's profile, referencing their role or post to boost response rates up to 20%. And like I said, gain a credit back when a client responds within 90 days. And this makes sure that you're sending out better messages, and space out InMails to maintain relevant messaging and a response rate above 13% to avoid restriction. All of this comes down to, let me show you how to do it within Bemodo to substantially increase the number of responses that you get. So I'm just going to I'm right in here. I'm just going to do a new conversation, and I'm not going to use my avatar. You'll see within Bemodo now, there's 3 different models or platforms: ChatGPT, Grok, or Claude. I think Claude does an excellent job of responding to people. It's really kind of a nice response. Each one of these have different strengths. The problem if I use Grok or Claude is that you cannot use a Bemodo avatar pre-trained. Each of them work differently. The only way that you can use an avatar is if you use the ChatGPT 4.0 mini. So I'm just going to show you today with Claude, but all of the templates that I'll just call this LinkedIn training, and I'm going to use Claude with that. And all of the templates still work. So if you go into your templates right here under DM prospecting, right here, this is personalized InMail and social DMs for cold prospecting. Just click on that, choose the platform that you're using. I'll use, in fact, I'll actually use Twitter right now, X. I'm going to keep it right around 400. 400 is a good number to use. It's not too big, not too small. Tone and style. You notice I don't have my avatar here, and because my avatar isn't here, I can't say reference my avatar. So I'm just going to put on here, mimic the tone and style of somebody. Give me somebody that they like. Let's go with, how about
Matt Walsh?
We'll use him next. Matt Walsh is pretty aggressive. Not pretty aggressive.
Yeah, that's true.
Matt Walsh is darn right aggressive, and I don't want to do that with him. So I'm going to use Seth Godin. Seth Godin's just nice. Megan Kelly. Angela said, you guys are both picking with Angela saying Megan Kelly. Megan Kelly's also aggressive. And right now, I don't necessarily want to be aggressive on here. I want to be professional, friendly, or casual. So you can put any of those, or you can mimic the tone and style of a famous person. So let's come on here. And I've already responded to some of these people, so I'm not going to use up my credits here. But let's go into the Sales Navigator and Jason Roth. So he declined it. I'm not going to send him another one. It'll use up one of my credits. And I don't necessarily like the offer that I was making to people for a period. I was getting a decent response rate, but I want it to be higher. So this is what we're doing with our grants. I'm going to grab that because this is really good. So I'll grab that part of it, which is the offer. So let's go into offer details, and I'll just paste that in there. And if you're doing multiple ones, you just have to fill this out once, and then you just change the recipient's name. And then I'm going to grab some insights from his profile. And so all I've got to do here, go to his profile, grab his the information that's on there. Let's grab it real quick, pull it off. Put that inside of there. The personal insights, just paste in information about him, his name. I'll just put Ted, and a call to action. If you look inside what I've been doing on that, I think that right here, I'll grab this also and put that inside. That's part of the information. So let's see, offer details. I'll put that right there. And then the call to action. I've been inviting them. Would you be interested in some more information? That's not super strong, but I'm going to put it like that way anyways. Jeffrey Boyle, your position, CEO, Bemodo Capital. So once I fill this part out down here, every time that I put some information inside of here of the personal insights from the profile, it's going to give me 3 different choices every single time. The first one's going to use the information that I put in there. But first it says, hey, Ted, I came across your profile, was impressed by your leadership in driving diverse international revenues to exceed quotas. So it gives a custom, a customized message for him. It gives me the subject line based upon some of the information that I put in there. Then it uses the information I put right here, the offer details, and it puts the exact call to action that I put in there. Okay. But on these ones right here, it changes them to give me some suggestions if I wanted to take them. Okay. So what's great about this is that it may give you some better suggestions to be able to interact with people that you want to take into account. But the first one's going to be almost exactly what you put right inside of there. So this works well for just about everything. I never send them the link to book with me unless they respond and say, yeah, I'm interested in that. And when they do that, I send them the link, and on that link, they're able to then ask the different questions or they're book a time with me. So does anybody have questions on that? This is, I use Claude, so I couldn't use my avatar, but I think that Claude does a decent job a lot of times of being able to help do that. So what questions anybody have so far on that of what I was showing you? All right, cool. This, I'm going to come back to this. If they reply to me and I send them the link that they're interested and they don't book with me, it's really, really important that you respond to them. You give them a nudge. Once they've accepted your InMail, it's not going to cost you another credit to send it back to them. And once again, you can send pretty much unlimited. You'd really have to be an InMail machine to right here. Sending InMails to open profiles allows you to potentially have up to 800 free InMails each month. So if you run out of your credits, then all you've got to do is check for their profiles and their gold badge, and you're going to be able to do that. And you're going to understand that this is something you should understand. InMails average a much, much higher percentage than cold emails, 18 to 25% versus 3% if you're just sending emails to people. But this is one other quick thing that I'd encourage you to do right here is use a oops, I went past it. This is something I would encourage you to do is a multi-channel approach. Now it requires more work, but if you combine InMails with emails, with regular emails and connection requests, it's highly likely that you're going to increase the success that you have on LinkedIn. So once again, I know that LinkedIn has some complexities. I ignored LinkedIn for a long time and I just kept spending thousands and thousands of dollars on Meta because it was sending people my way. But I'm telling you, I have significantly reduced from close to $10,000 a month to just about $2,000 a month of my total marketing outreach budget. And the number of appointments has gone down. My sales have gone up, which means that I'm getting in front of much, much more qualified people. That's the dream, right? Less meetings, more money, and better response to what you're sending out. So with that said, what questions do any of you have on how to effectively use this or anything else that we've been teaching each week on reaching out to people? All right. What questions do you guys have this week about the AI wizard, the Bemodo AI wizard, or even how to properly use the different platforms of Grok versus OpenAI versus Claude? Anything you've got. All right. Make sure you got the newsletter. Thank you so much for coming. Make sure that you got the newsletter. Thomas, be sure that you ask Angela. She's better at that than me. So tag both Angela and me inside the group. We'll make sure that we get you back on the newsletter. And I just encourage you all to make sure you're subscribing to my YouTube channel. Whoops. Make sure you're subscribing there, just to the YouTube channel. It's just really simple. YouTube.com/Jeffrey Boyle. And I am very committed each week. There's the lives on there. Any of the videos that you questions you have, just be sure you go to my live. And this is where I'm posting each week now, because I'm streaming them live to the YouTube channel. So any questions you have, you can review some of these, or you can just send me a direct message. Here to help you guys get to where you need to be with your business. So thanks for being on this week.
Thank you, Jeff.
Yep. Talk to you guys soon.
See you, everybody.